Hey guys, ArtOrAut here, bringing to you another random blast of newsy goodness. I actually hadn't expected to do another one of these so soon, but I came across so much stuff that I just had to share. I couldn't decide what to do first, so hey, I'm doing all of them. Let's get right into it. First, just to get this out of the way, I thought you guys might be happy, or possibly sad, to know that the Jersey Shore is finally reaching an end. Evidently, after this season, whichever one that is, the show is going to get the axe. Apparently, the reasons are varied, with the ratings starting to wane, thank God. At least one star pregnant and engaged or something. I don't really watch it, but a large part, evidently, has to do with the fact that the various stars have been demanding higher and higher payment. Evidently slated to receive $150,000 per episode each. Which is, this is a shame. I always thought they were such a clean-cut and modest bunch of kids. Wow, I hope you guys enjoyed it while it lasted, and that you remembered to invest some of it. And no, empty beer bottles for the recycling plant don't count, though I suspect you could probably retire off those alone. But hey, big loss for the reality television administration, yada yada yada. Now please, everyone please join me for a moment of silent laughter. Okay, moving on. Speaking of things best forgotten, a clothing store in India, recently opened, has drawn a bit of a shitstorm around it with regards to its choice of name. Now the owner has replied that he will only change the name if he is recompensed for the cost of rebranding and whatnot, which he estimated would come to around $2,700 US. I know, I'm dancing around what the name is, so I'll just tell you what it is right after I mention that the owner insists that he didn't know the true meaning of the name, and that he only used it because it was a nickname for their very strict grandfather. The name of the store is Hitler. That's right. Dude named a clothing store Hitler. And he's acting surprised that people are pissed. For those of you who think he might be telling the truth, that he had no clue who Adolf Hitler was, I should mention I've seen a picture of one of the business cards, a legit source, not made up, and the dot on the I is a swastika. So, it comes down to whether we preserve freedom of speech, freedom of expression rather, or if we keep this guy from profiting off one of the most horrific events in history. 'Cause, come on, let's face it, this guy probably did this for free publicity. I mean, knowing how far a word would spread, it's a risk, of course, since people might burn his place down now, but if it brings in the customers, oh boy. It'd be like if I did a video insulting every single YouTube celebrity on here. Statistically speaking, I couldn't hate all of them. I'd just be picking a fight with their fan bases because, well, you still monetize the views, even if most of them dislike the video. Anyway, in other news, I have officially added something to my bucket list. There's a town called Bunal, I don't know, which holds an annual festival called Tomatina. Probably mangling that, but anyway, basically, it's an event every year where people get together and proceed to pelt each other with pulp from tomatoes. Hundreds, if not thousands of tomatoes, until there's tomato juice everywhere, and it's total tomato chaos, and God, why do we not do this kind of shit here, huh? I'll pitch in. Hell, I vote we prepare an immediate fund right as soon as we find out if it's cheaper to buy 3 tons of tomatoes or fly to Spain. Personally, I think I'd love the culture, and I totally plan on starting up a Kickstarter funding project. Just kidding, guys, I'm not that jaded yet. Still, this strikes me as nothing short of awesome, and yeah, I might be easily amused, but someone who isn't even a little tempted to just going apeshit with tomatoes in the middle of a public street really needs to find their inner child. Speaking of finding things, a search party was organized in Iceland when a woman who was part of a bus tour was reported missing by the other members of the tour. A description was given, and search parties combed the area for hours to no success. Finally, they called the search off at around 3 in the morning, with the Coast Guard unable to render aerial assistance due to foggy conditions. Terrible, right? Well, you will be happy to know that the reason they called the search off was that they found the woman. Guess where she was? Go on, just guess. And say in the comments section if you're right and if you haven't heard the story before. Okay, time's up. She was part of the search party. Yeah, apparently nobody recognized her when she returned from the bathroom at a pit stop, and so they thought she was missing. Also, when they took a head count to be sure, they counted wrong. And it turns out that the description her fellow passengers provided was so inaccurate that the woman in question didn't realize that it was her they were talking about. So she ended up in a search party searching for herself without realizing it. All I can say is thank God the Coast Guard helicopter didn't get involved, because you know they would have made these people foot the bill. Next, in what is one of the most romantic gestures that I never, ever plan to do, a man whose name I will not mention because, it's an honest mistake, and I do actually feel kind of sympathetic for the guy, decided that he was going to send himself in a box by courier to his girlfriend's office. The idea being, of course, she would open it and he'd leap out and go surprise. And anyways, the delivery time was supposed to be about 20 minutes. Unfortunately, the couriers mixed up the boxes, and it ended up taking more like 3 hours. Which, hey, you're going to be stiff, sore, a little embarrassed, wanting to sue. Except the gentleman in question didn't have any of these symptoms, because he was kind of unconscious by the time the box arrived. See, the man in question kind of made the box airtight. It was sealed with tape, and the cardboard was very thick, so by the time he realized that he was running out of air, and that it was taking longer than it should have, he couldn't make a hole with his finger to breathe. He could have shouted for help, because God knows there were people around him, couriers and the like. But he didn't want to spoil the surprise. I gotta give him props, actually. I try to be a good guy when I'm dating, doting and whatnot, but I gotta admit, in this situation, I'd be selfish and choose air over surprising my date. Sorry. Anyway, he's fine. Paramedics revived him at his girlfriend's place of employment, and this really isn't the courier's fault either, because, well, nobody told them that there was a human being in the box. If anyone had, they wouldn't have accepted the package, for obvious reasons. In less heartening news, Disney has agreed to work on redesigning some of their characters, such as Minnie Mouse, Goofy, and Daisy Duck, so they can help fit in with Barney's New York, which is some store apparently not affiliated with a purple dinosaur. To help these characters fit in with the Barney fashion style, evidently they're going to slim these characters down. And you know what, I could describe the result with words, but I figure I'll break my usual rule and find you fellas a picture. Let's see, where is it? And oh god! Oh fuck, I thought that was the Slender Man. Okay, no, that's Daisy. Oh god, my childhood is shattering. Don't even look for Minnie Mouse. Trust me, she looks like a flamingo. Like with pink and this really haughty sort of I'm cheating on Mickey look about her. Oh god, the pain. The emotional pain. Okay. Anyway, that's all for tonight. Unless I get really bored and make another one, God knows. This is ArtOrAut telling all of you that the next time someone organizes a search party and you share a hair color with the missing person, just double check. Better safe than covered in sweat and bruises, am I right?